Are you looking to take headshots, but you just don't know what equipment that you actually need to take the headshots? Well, in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly what I use from my lighting down to my camera equipment, exactly how I take headshots in 2 locations at a company out here in Atlanta. Let's get right into it. So right now, what I use for headshots, I actually use a C-stand because the C-stand is exactly what I need to place on an alien bee. That alien bee is my strobe, and from there I like the C-stand because it gives just a little bit more it has a little bit more weight to it to hold the alien bee as well as the giant octobox that I actually use, or the softbox that I use. Right now I'm actually taking out the Paul Buff lithium battery pack. This is what I use on the scene if I don't want to run any cords, because everything plugs directly into that lithium pack. It's like a Vagabond mini. That's exactly what it is. So right now I'm actually putting on that alien bee at the end of my C-stand and I'm just screwing that into place because, again, before I start putting anything on, I just want to make sure everything is nice and locked in, especially when it comes down to like at an organization or anything like that, because you do need it to be in a place where it's not going to trip anybody over. And this is exactly why I like using this Vagabond mini, because it gives me the opportunity just to plug everything in without having to worry about any cords dangling anywhere. So what I have also right here are pocket whizzers, and pocket whizzers are triggers, and it allows you to use your flashes that don't have any internal wireless communications built in. It allows you to use that with any camera. I think right now I was talking to somebody, and that's where that actually came in. Don't mind me. I'm always talking to people on the scene. That's another thing you want to do. You want to make sure that you're really personable when you get to these locations, because people, you know, you're in their space. It's brand new for them, and they just kind of want to know what's going on. So I first hook up the pocket whizzers because, again, I want to make sure those are fully charged because they take rechargeable batteries. And in addition to the rechargeable batteries, just make sure that they're actually working. So I'll test them out. So I just hang them from there. Now, this is my giant softbox. This is an octobox. So I just want to make sure that I get that on my alien bee. Make sure that it's nice and snug and firm inside there, because, again, this is what's going to provide that beautiful soft light on my subjects when I get them in position. And I'll show you how I do that as well just a little bit later. But make sure that's all in place. Get this in place, and we kind of go from there. Usually at this point as well, just a heads up, I do place on a sandbag at the end of the top pole, just to make sure that, you know, there's some counterbalance to it. But in this case, I'm moving everything out the way where there's no one walking particularly by it at this point, just to make sure that it's out the way. So right now what I'm doing is actually seeing exactly where my subject is going to stand right now, because, again, from there that'll give me enough indication as far as where to place my strobe and make sure the light is hitting them correctly. And I'll move it here and there just depending on the skin color of my participant. If they're fair skin, I'll move the light away, or I'll turn it down just a little bit. Or if they're a little bit darker skin, I'll move it up a little bit closer. So right now I'm in a new location right now, and what I usually like doing is getting the backdrop of the city in this particular location. So I'm moving everything out. I'm cleaning up the table. I'm moving chairs out the way because I want a nice clean look as we're taking the headshots, or I'm gonna have the people actually sitting down in this case here. So I'm moving anything that they have. I just make a mental note, or to grab a photo on my phone to make sure that I'm putting everything back into place when I'm all said and done. I just don't want to show up and just kind of like destroy the whole room and then just leave with it all, you know, discombobulated. I will put it back in. So anything that they have on the desk, I just want to move it to make sure we're nice and clean, but I'll put it in a location to where I know. Right now I'm moving the single chair in place because this is what I want. If you see that Ferris wheel in the background, that's what I want to be on in the shot itself. So I do understand they have like telecommunications on the desk and such. I'm gonna move all of that out the way, possibly just put it inside the chair like you're gonna see me doing here. But again, I don't want the desk to have anything, but I want you to pay attention to that light in the back, because this is the light that I want to be over their right shoulder when we're taking the shot. So right now I'm actually just putting up the blinds, and how I'll put up the blinds, again, I'll put them back down when I'm done. But again, I want that nice, clear, unobstructed view of the city to be in the background on my subject, especially with the Ferris wheel. And what I'm doing with the cores, I'm just wrapping them and just tucking them into place so I don't have to go through Photoshop and do anything later. That is pretty annoying to have to take out line by line, you know, as far as dangling cords that's in the background of the window. And I'm just doing that by each window, taking my time, making sure I get there early so I could go ahead and just get all of those to the corner. Now I'm looking at the shot, just making sure it's all correct. And I'm gonna go ahead and get my light because again, I'm gonna need that. The biggest thing is just to make sure you have the angle exactly what you need before you go. All right. So right now I am with my FJ 400, my Wescott. I have a stainless steel newer light stand, and I love this FJ 400 because again, everything is in the backpack. It's the light, it's the trigger, and it's actually the soft box itself that comes into it. It's in your backpack. Sometimes I usually just go out with the backpack and my camera in the backpack, and it's like a one-stop shop, and I'm just holding the light stand itself. I really like this again because everything is inside the backpack. There's nothing else that you need. The flash actually has a built-in rechargeable battery, lithium battery to it, so you don't need anything else. And its trigger, only thing you just have to do is make sure that's charged and go from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and place my light off center of them, a little bit more to the left. Usually in this case here, you want the light to come from the light source side, but in this case, the way the room is set up to make sure you get that background, I am placing it on the other side of them. I am exposed for the environment outside at the window because I want that all to be sharp. And I'm gonna use the light itself to hit the subject to light them, whereas instead of exposing for the subject and completely blow out the background. We don't want to do that. Now, pretty much, let's go into the equipment that I'm actually going to use. The first camera I use is my Canon R6. I love this for photo and video. I have a Canon R5. I have a 24-105 millimeter lens, and I have a 70-200 millimeter lens as well. I usually have a 24-70 as well that I use, but in this case, I don't believe it. I think I left it inside the case, if I'm not mistaken. Make sure you have clean batteries, charge batteries, because you're going to need those. So I'm just going through everything as far as you can see, just taking everything out the case. Apologize about the camera angle here. It could have been much better. I do have clamps or D-rings that I place on the bottom of the cameras. Make sure you tighten those. I've dropped my camera before because I use a strap, being I'm going to have two separate areas to where I'm taking photos. I'm just getting everything in place one by one to make sure. I'm not going to use a flash or my Gary fog in this case here because I have strobes I'm actually going to use to light my subjects. So I'm not going to really need that. I am going to put it in batteries inside my flash in the event that they want to take photos somewhere else and I don't have my flash, my strobe that I'm taking out. So I just make sure everything is ready to go. So if they say, hey, let's grab a group photo outside and it's dark, I already have that. So again, like I said, I'm using right now, actually, I'm sorry, I am using the 24-70 right now, if I'm not mistaken. That is a 24-70. I'm using the 24-70, not the 24-105. The 24-70 is going on my R6 and the 70-200 is going on my R5. I'm going to just go ahead and make sure everything is nice and packed up and go from there. I'm getting a clean memory card, formatting the memory card before I start. This is again one of the reasons why you want to go early. You don't want to just go 10 minutes before the shoot, and just make sure that you're putting everything in there, you're formatting the card so you don't run out of any space when you're taking the photos of the participants. Again, just check the card, make sure you're all good with that, format it, you're good to go. Take the lens cap off. Definitely. All right. So those are my two bodies that I'm actually going to use. It is my Canon R5 with the 70-200 and also my Canon R6 with the 24-70. I believe that is the 24-70. Now in this case here, I'm pulling one more lens out. That is going to be the Canon R with the 16-35 millimeter in the event that we need to take a really wide shot outside. I want to make sure I have a third body ready to go just in the event that they ask for that. But that is one thing that you should all definitely offer is a group shot once you're taking headshots of several people. You definitely want to offer out a group shot when you are taking headshots of like a particular organization, because sometimes you never know, they may want a Christmas card, they may want some type of visual to go inside a newsletter or anything like that. But while you're there, make sure you include that. Just say, hey, you know, while I'm there, I'm going to go ahead and grab the headshots, but I'm also going to make sure to grab out a group shot for you all, for everybody that's there, because again, if you're there taking headshots of majority of the people there, it would kind of make sense because they're already dressed, they already got the makeup done, their hair done, or the haircuts. Just go ahead and get a group shot as well. Okay. Now I'm putting on my camera strap, and the camera strap is what I definitely love to use because again, I want both cameras on me. I want to be able to be extremely nimble and mobile when I'm coming down to having two locations rather than leaving a camera here or looking for a camera here. This is definitely when that comes in. So again, with those D-rings, I'm making sure I hook in the camera on each side. My 24-105, I usually place it, not 24, my 70-200, I used to place it on my dominant hand. I'm pausing because I'm in a new location. Place it on my dominant hand, which I'm right-handed. This is a little bit heavier camera, and I want to make sure that it's nice and easy for me just to get up and start taking photos with. Now, particularly, I'm going to explain why you like using these different focal lengths just a minute. But we're moving back into the room now where I set it up with that room shot as far as having the background with the city in the back. Right now, I'm exposing for the window because, again, I know I mentioned it from before. We want the window shot itself to be the shot that that's perfectly lit, and just use the flash to light the subject. I usually like sitting down and just trying to reposition my camera, not my camera, but my light, to make sure that it's hitting the subject exactly where I need to hit it. And also, I'm bending down. I'm seeing what the shot looks like before the people actually get into the location, or if they start sitting down. I don't want to fiddle around with a light once they're in there, because it doesn't make any sense. They just want to come in, grab their headshot, and get back to work. You don't want to make it an inconvenience for the organization. You want to make sure that it's nice and easy for them so they can call you back out, because, again, everything was seamless. So right now I'm testing out my light. I'm making sure that my lighting looks nice and good. I'm looking at different angles just in the event if they ask, hey, I want to grab a shot from this side versus this side, you already have that in place. I also like to move around. You see me just move out the scene here. I did move around to make sure that a light is going to be coming off that right shoulder, because, again, I want that light to be in the shot. I wanted to make it look like an office environment. That's exactly what I wanted to look like. So again, I'm just checking in my images in my mirrorless camera, which I really love about that. I like to look through the viewfinder so I can get a really close view on what the shot looks like. And right now I am hammering in the settings by setting up a custom setting on the camera itself to make sure that it's locked in place. That is one quick tip. Make sure that you're using your C1, your C2, and C3 if your camera is equipped with that, because you can move through different scenarios and just make sure that you're already set up for that shot before you even have the people set in. So you could go in, set the location, set the scene, set the custom settings, and make sure that you're nice and locked in. I wanted to get a wider shot so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about, because, again, you're not going to see those 4 chairs at the side of the table. The only thing that you will see is that light over the shoulder. And again, I'm just making sure everything looks good before the subjects come in. And as you can see here, I'm setting up the custom settings because it makes complete sense to set up the custom settings before they walk in. All right, so now we're moving back outside. Here's where I use the 7200 for that focal length and that compression. This is where it makes sense. Usually when you're taking headshots, right now I'm just moving my light around, you want to make sure that you set up, get a nice focal length. I'm using the 7200 for the focal length at a 2.8, because with a long hallway, it gives that depth and that compression to completely blur out the background and also give you that compression of the subject itself. Now, it could be a very long hallway. You won't see much of what's going on, but just blobs and blurs or lights and such like that as far as they blur it out. But the subject to where the hallway is extending out and you have that subject in there, it creates a really nice look as far as the subject is nice and sharp, tack sharp in the middle, and you just have everything else blurred out. But it's that compression. I know I keep saying compression, but it's that compression that makes the shot look amazing. Right now I am setting up my custom settings. As I mentioned from before, you want to get those locked in, and then I'm going to start welcoming people in, because this is where it makes sense. But I'm going to go ahead and just take one more time to angle my lighting just to make sure it's perfect to where I need my subject. I usually place a piece of tape on the floor so I can identify exactly where they need to place their right or left foot. Most in this case here is going to be their right foot, where I need them to place that foot, because, again, I want them to be the shots to look identical, just depending on the person's height, and also just to make sure that I'm getting exactly what I need. Another reason why I placed the tape on the floor is just to make sure that the people, when they're walking up, they don't have to second guess what they have to do. They don't want to feel awkward, especially if you're taking a group headshot, or you're taking a headshot of a group of people and they may send 5 up at a time and you have 20. They're going to be in front of 4 of their colleagues or cohorts, or just their fellows, or just their co-workers, and they don't want to feel awkward. They don't want to feel like they don't know what they're doing. So again, I try to make it as easy as possible for them to step on the tape, to explain everything in a simple fashion, a step-by-step fashion, so they don't have to guess and say, am I going to do this right? No, they're just taking the direction from me. Especially when you, as a photographer, you're doing headshots, people feel awkward. They feel like unless they're used to taking photos all the time, they're gonna feel a little bit awkward because again, this is something new. It's like a vulnerable state that they go into because they have a person on the other side of the camera, you know, pointing a camera at them. They want to know, am I doing good? Does it look good? So you want to just again give them as many instructions as you possibly can before you actually start taking the headshots. And this is where the tape comes in, the positioning comes in, and also just the repetition of telling them exactly what to do. And also when the people are sitting on the side, if they're going to be next, just say, hey guys, take a listen to what I'm saying to him, because this is going to apply to you as well. So they start understanding, okay, this gentleman is going to say the same thing over and over and over again. By the time it gets to like the second or third person, they already know what to do. They just probably need like simple tweaks here and there. So let's go a little bit into what I'm telling this gentleman right here. Good here. So we're going to do 2 shots. Okay. We'll start one here and then we'll do another one inside this room sitting right at that chair. And then we can do 1 or 2 things. We could go with the arm cross, or we could again just have one hand in the pocket, just one hand on the thigh. But you're looking directly at me. Just turn your right shoulder towards me a little bit. Right there. Nice. All right. So just follow my hand with your head on this way and then come over this way. Right there. Nice. So as you can see here, I told him exactly what to do. I gave him an option as far as the shot that he could take. I gave him direction of where to place his feet. I gave him direction as far as where to place his head by saying, hey, follow my head, you know, move it down, follow my hand with your head. That's the biggest thing you could give is over direct. Keep telling them exactly what to do so they can just keep in their mind. It's so much easier. I'm just following what he tells me. He's telling me to put my head here. I'm going to follow his hand and place my head over there. So things like that just make it a little bit easier for clients. But again, as you can see here, I'm explaining to them. The other thing that I like to make sure to go ahead and do is just count them down. So I said, you know, and 3, 2, 1, or 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Take the shot. So they know if they have to blink and they feel like, oh man, did I just blink on that shot? Like, no, you didn't blink. Just again, I'll grab the shot after I get to 3. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, take the shot. 1, 2, 3, take the shot. Because at that point, it just makes it, again, much easier for them to know that he's going to tell me what to do. I'm going to trust him. He's the authority right now, and he's going to make the shots look good. So that's the easiest way to look at it. All right. So let's see what else we could get from this gentleman right here. Nice. I'm just going to move the light. You're doing good. You're perfect. It's a little bit too close to you. Right there. Nice. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. Hold that. Nice. And 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. One more. 1, 2, and 3. All right. Just follow my hand with your head one more time. This way. A little bit more this way. Right there. Perfect. 1, 2, and 3. Hold that. And then 1, 2, and 3. All right. Keep the same stance with your feet. Let's go for that arm cross. Okay. So there we go. So let's start over one more time. Let's see. Do we have our, yeah. So when the arm cross itself, if it's easy sometimes, like you say, cross my arms and you just go for it. But if you're saying something like, I'm sorry, what'd you say? Just like, all right, just there we go. So let's kind of go where it's kind of this one, but this hand here on the other side is just kind of sitting directly on, what's it? Yeah. All right. So we're going to start one more time back at the light. We're going to go ahead and face the light. I'll do it in reverse for you. Okay. So just imagine I'm facing the light this way. You're going to be this way. You're just dropping that right shoulder directly towards me. So I'll do it in reverse. So kind of like this. Dropping the right towards me, looking right there. Nice. Hold that. Hold on a sec. I'm just going to go ahead and just move your jacket so it gets a little bit closer together. Hold on a sec. Got you right here. There we go. Hold that right there. Right there. This is it. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. Hold that. 1, 2, and 3. One more. And 1, 2, and 3. So if you can see exactly just what we just had there, just a little bit with this gentleman, I explained a ton of things to him, but I kept over explaining and re-explaining when I see that maybe he wasn't understanding what I was saying, and it's no fault to him. This is not something that he does every day. So in this case here, I'm explaining to him where to stand, where to place his hand. I'm counting him down, but most importantly, before we even started that, I moved my light back, but I was continuing to give him positive praise as I was walking towards the light. Why do I do that? A lot of times people may think that they're doing something wrong immediately if they don't hear feedback, especially like I said, in this case here, it's a vulnerable state. It's where they have a person on the other side of the camera taking photos of them. They have no idea if they're doing good. They have no idea what the photos look like. They have no idea if this is the process, if this process is going smooth or not. So again, with you being a positive reinforcer as you're walking towards the light, if you're making any corrections, just let them know you're doing a great job, or you let the burden fall back on you as a photographer. It's like, you know what? I had my light a little bit too high. Let me turn it down just a little bit, but you're doing great. Thank you so much for listening exactly what I'm saying, because these are coming out great. So you could give them that positive reinforcement. So maybe in the first, maybe say 5 or 6 images that you take, they're not going to be the keepers. Then maybe images 7, 9, and 11 are going to be the keepers. You've already gotten those images out the way. You've given them positive reinforcement, and you can kind of move on and make sure you get some really great images. The other thing I like to do is explain to people, say, I'm sorry, what did you say? Because if you're constantly saying something in your head, if you're not really paying attention to so much of the pose and you're just paying attention to what you're saying versus what you're doing, a lot of times you may go into a natural pose, you don't even realize that. So my go-to is saying, no, just tell them, I'm sorry, what did you say? So imagine if you're saying that to a person, if they stopped you in the grocery store and say, hey, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. You say, I'm sorry, what was that? You're gonna go into a natural pose and you don't even realize that, but that is your natural pose, rather than you being extremely stiff and looking around that way. You don't want that. You want it to look as natural possible. You want it to make it look as natural as possible when you're taking your photos. I'm gonna have you take one more step this way. There we go. Now we got that whole hallway. Perfect. 1, 2, and 3. Nice. Good job, ladies. There we go. There we go. Nice. Perfect. 1, 2, and 3. So hopefully this was helpful, of me showing exactly the gear that I use, exactly the techniques that I use to, come up with these headshots, or actually take headshots. Make sure you like and subscribe, or you send this to somebody if they're up and coming photographer, or they just need a little bit more information as far as how to take headshots if they just booked a new gig and they're just looking through YouTube videos, but nobody's actually showing how they did it. Hopefully, guys, this was helpful for you, and I'll check you on the next video. Peace.